Please remember as you go into the school year, how am I going to be intentional? And others really, truly can't help but notice.
VIBE EDU is all about building community and knowing that this job is not something that you can do alone.
VIBE EDU made it seem, what do I need to do to make myself be the best version of myself in the classroom?
VIBE EDU has had a huge impact on me and my classroom, so I really want to talk about how it's positively impacted my students.
VIBE this weekend has been really powerful for me. I got to bring 8 of my staff members, and it was nice to hear all of the things that we are working for as a team and then continuing to push ourselves as educators. I have everyone in my herd now, and we're ready to go.
I love the end where we're all celebrating.
Are you able to leave the DeLorean in there somehow, though?
No!
Or is that gone? That's gone forever?
Done!
I have it in the banks if we need to like throw it somewhere. Maybe this is what I'll do, Mitch. I'll have an outro video with the DeLorean. How about that? So we close it down with
TJ and I sitting on the back.
Yeah.
We'll have all 4 of us some way on the DeLorean.
No,
How about
clearly
that?
cut me out of everything. You just cut me out. Doesn't even matter.
He literally cut the top half the screen out, Kim. Me and you were out. Just him and DJ.
Whatever.
All right, I'm getting us back on track. So last week, honestly, the last 3 weeks, we've kind of taken a hiatus on this series. So we're coming back to the summer series, specifically on creating your school reputation, which is great as the school year is upon us. People are in the building. Students are coming back. Maybe they're already back for various portions of the country. And so just a reminder for the summer series, we're a little bit shorter. They're going to be about 15 minutes long. But today, specifically for this 3rd episode in the series, we're going to be talking about supporting each other and how that correlates to your school reputation. And so I always like to throw it out there for whoever wants to latch on with their first comments. But when thinking about school reputation, what are you thinking about in regards to the staff and supporting each other?
I'll go.
I was waiting.
I think everyone was just looking at you, TJ.
Mitch muted. As soon as you said words, I'll throw it out to somebody. He muted himself. Like, somebody's gonna
Do you also see he backed up?
Yeah. I want to just maybe we get a little technical here and pitch it over to Mitch eventually about collective efficacy. One of the highest effect sizes on learning is teacher collective efficacy, and we can't have collective efficacy without collective effort. And we can't have collective effort if we're all behind closed doors doing our own thing and we don't know what each other's doing. And I think the only way that we can also instill pride in one another's work is to give kudos to each other based on the small and large contributions that we each make to the school. And so that means highlighting positive student behavior, highlighting positive adult behavior, highlighting things that people do that make the place work over and over and over again. It also means seeing it happen. So you can't highlight if you don't see it happen. So school leaders spending their time in the most important spaces in our schools, the classrooms, and breaking down the walls for our teachers to get out and see each other do the work. Another really high effect size is teacher credibility. And the only way that we give and get credibility from one another is by watching each other do the work and knowing that we're actually effective at doing the things that we do in the classroom, the things that we do in the hallway and the common spaces. And again, that leads to collective efficacy. And then I just also like to point out this is our lizard brain. It's natural. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but we tend to pick out the worst of the worst of the worst things that happen today in our school, in our classroom. And that's what we amplify for one another. Can't you believe that such and such? Or that's what we amplify in the cul-de-sac conversation. And that's what's bringing us down. That's what's bringing our reputation down. So it really is a rising tide lifts all ships. And that starts with us giving each other some props as often as possible within the culture to sustain a school year where we don't burn people out. That was my rant.
Done.
We got out of the way quickly.
Yeah, you can
Wow,
mute
we checked
yourself
that
Knew
off.
what you were gonna
TJ.
say.
Good.
You knew. You had rehearsed it. That was my rant. I'm done.
Mitch,
it's
do you want
worth-
to talk about that?
Yeah, I just want to add that I like how you said almost like we have to train ourselves to do that, because if for whatever reason it tends to be human nature where I remember this as a newer teacher. I would have, some behavior problems one day with a kid or two, something, and it would just fester with me. That's all I would think about and obsess about, and have to go on like a 2-hour run after school because this one class period just, came off the rails, like whatever. And it dawned on me one day, like, I also have like 160 other students, and everything went great with almost everybody. And this, not to say I'm negating that and not paying attention to it, but training ourselves of what are you going to focus on? What are you going to talk about? What are you going to share or point out to others? I think what you said there, TJ, and being intentional, like almost training ourselves as individuals, but even collectively as a cultural piece to talk about those things, to make a point to, it takes effort because it's like there's this propensity and I think it's also natural and like, I want to get better. We want this thing. Why does this keep happening? But to celebrate the other things as well, the things going well, and to brag on your colleagues because you've been in their class and saw them and you're like, whoa, like they are really, really good. But committing to that and making a point of it. And then maybe it's also for leadership to create opportunities for that sharing, because that's where the culture, if we're looking at the brand of the school and how the community experiences that this is what changes the culture. It's not test scores and all the crap that you can put on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, if we're going to follow the research and you really want to help children learn and be successful, well, getting collective about something or a lot of things, and being is key, but also recognizing there's things we're not going to get collective about. And that's good too. If I'm teaching first grade and you teach fifth grade, there's some really profound differences in our spaces, but there's what are the things that we have in common that we can commit to collectively and intentionally.
My brain goes to in the intro, you can hear a principal say, I have my herd, we're running together, right? That's a principal saying that. And then I was thinking about a teacher who I just met with recently. She was like, I want my school to be a bison school. I want you to talk to my principal. I want my school to be a bison school, like the schools that you work with. And I was thinking, okay, because one of the things that we do, what we teach teachers to do, is to notice the things, right, that your students are doing. Not that you're expecting them to do and then praising them for showing that, but it's the growth, right? Things that you're working through, things that you're working towards, noticing those little things in kids, praising the crap out of them, working hard. And I was thinking a bison board is a very easy thing to have in a staff lounge where you say you've been noticed, right? Bison stands for be intentional so others notice. And when we're talking about a collective here and everybody, it is your herd running together, same mindset. And I was thinking those bison postcards that teachers give students could be the same thing teachers giving teachers, administration giving teachers, right? Teachers giving to administrator. I mean, I noticed that you, whatever that is, and how good that feels just to be noticed. That's why we had the brag tag table. There were teachers eating up those brag tags because it feels good to be noticed for those things, to be a human, to show gratitude. I mean, that's what they said on the brag tags, right? That's what it was. It wasn't like, I don't know, you were able to jump out of an airplane. Like, we're not praising that. Nobody's getting praised for jumping out of airplanes, just for being you. So I was thinking a bison board would be something, especially if you are a bison school or you're a principal who's going, I've got my herd. If like those words are coming out of your mouth, then when teachers are going into classrooms looking for one thing and it's very, very specific, then you go to that board and you're writing those postcards every single time.
Yeah. I want to touch on that piece with the brag tags, because we do that. And we talked about this in our sessions, especially on day 2, in regards to the things that we're doing with our students are things that we also can do with our staff. And there's a lot of different things that we can talk through in regards to that. But as far as praising each other, to what TJ was talking about with like the lizard brain and looking at the negatives, a lot of times too, it's filling in the gaps. Sometimes we don't have all the information, and instead of having positive intent, we then go and fill it in with a negative. And that could be the perception of the person or their actions, and then having negative feelings toward them. And to your point, Kim, with like the herd mentality, it's also, you're a team, right? And so if you're a team, you need to be uplifting each other. And so I used to use this with my staff, and when I was a coach, I'd use this with my basketball players. Is like, there was a professor out in UC Berkeley in 2015. He took a bunch of data just on like high fives, fist bumps, embraces, and all that data showed that the teams that did that the most on the court during the game day actually had more wins, but then also had more selfless plays. So there was a correlation between like uplifting, giving encouragement on the court, and the product that was on and what's happening in the NBA. And I'd always like to bring that back, because how often do we see that on a campus? You know, are you walking through the hall giving praise? Are you fist bumping? Are you getting side hugs? Are you doing your thing where you're telling people how much you appreciate them and encourage them about like the work that they're doing? Or is it mostly the things coming out of your mouth is the negative talk? Because that is going to be a poison in the culture. And I don't know about you, but I want a culture of selfless behavior and positive talk and uplifting, because that's going to then infiltrate our classrooms. And it's also going to be infiltrating the school reputation. And it is a little thing, but it has so much power.
Mm-hmm. I think too, it's worth saying for school leaders and teacher leaders who want to do this work, one happens one person at a time. So you can, if you're listening, you can make this happen in your school, in your culture. We're all culture builders. So that's important to know. And 2, it's not about bringing cookies to the faculty meeting. You should have cookies at your faculty meeting, but that's not what we're talking about here. These are systems, and these are consistent things that we do over and over again that define our culture. And so it's not something that you just kind of have a party or rah-rah and everybody feels good about it. You build systematic ways for people to be able to celebrate one another, for people to be able to see each other's work, and for people to be able to feel pride in the school as a community. And so it's not just a one and done type of thing, and it needs to happen over and over again for it to stick.
All right, we got to wrap it up.
Was that the real last point, TJ?
Not unless Mitch has one more thing.
I was going to say.
I do, but I have a question for us. If you had to pick just real quick, and I'll throw it to TJ since you were just the last one talking, and Josh put up that rude little comment bar.
I don't believe that was rude at all, sir.
Real last.
I feel attacked.
Or comment. Where to start?
Mm-hmm.
As a school leader, as a teacher, like if you had to do one thing next week to start this, where would you start? Both. One for a leader, one for a teacher who's at a campus where this just isn't even on the radar or being talked about. And not only the teacher has to answer. That's to the whole group.
I mean, I think for a school leader, the first thing that I'm going to try to think about for this school year is how often can I provide a coverage scenario so that my teachers can go see each other work.
Right.
And what structures am I going to put in place with that so that they're seeing the right people work and they're seeing the right scenarios? And I would not make that about judgment whatsoever. I would make it about personal reflection. I'd even give sentence stems like, I learned this today, or I noticed this today in your classroom. I can try this next time I'm doing a lesson similar to this, so that it's a personal, they're noticing something and they're thinking about it. And I would not take that for granted. Like, just let them go. I think they need the structure and the sentence stem. And then I would develop a system for faculty meetings where a third of the time that we spend together is about professional development. And for school leaders, I'll just break it into thirds. I want my hour or however much time I have with my faculty meeting, a third of it is spent on celebrating one another. A third of it is spent on information sharing. And I wish that wasn't the case, but we just know that long email, some things are meant for email, but long emails don't convey the message. This is vision building, communication, and information sharing. And the other third is about professional development. What's one thing we can all learn together? And if your faculty meeting has that structure every single time, you're celebrating, you're learning things together, and you're getting the critical information out, that itself will change the culture along with getting people into each other's rooms. That was my second rant.
Well done, sir. Check. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because I'm looking at the time and we're exceeding the 15 minutes. So you got a little bonus for those who are tuning in. But yeah, what's your takeaway? If you have something else that, to Mitch's question that you want to provide, something that's, within your circle of control that you are doing that is making an impact not only in your own life, but also on the campus, we'd love to hear from you. So you can definitely put that in on YouTube or on Spotify. Of course, too, we've got our links in the show notes as always. So we'd love to hear from you in that space. We also do a mailbag episode where we take questions. So if there's something that comes up in your brain as you're listening to the last 3 episodes in the series that you want us to go further on, or maybe it's something that we talked about in a previous episode, or even if you were at the live VIBE EDU event and maybe we talked about something there and you want us to expand on it, please throw that into the comment section or reach out to Kim or one of us, and we would love to riff on that even more, as we'd like to do a mailbag in between each of these series. So we're looking forward to that, and we're also looking forward to ending the series with connecting to your community, which will be up next, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.